Hi kids! Congratulations on finishing your measurement unit in math. And it is time for us to start a new unit about geometry. Now, as you know, geometry is the study of shapes. I'm sure most of you know these shapes, but we're going to learn about some particular details about these shapes. First of all, these are the sides of these shapes. All of these lines are the sides. So this one obviously is a triangle, so it would have 3 sides. And this is a square, so 4 sides. And this is a hexagon, 6 sides. And this is a trapezoid, 4 sides. Now, not only with shapes do we talk about sides, but we talk about angles. Angles is this little section where lines meet together. So it's like right there on all of them. These little sections are called angles, and the angle is the distance from this line to this line. So it's this space right in there. And a hexagon has 6 angles. So a lot of times when we talk about shapes, they classify them based on the angles or the sides. And with angles, there are 2 kinds of angles we're going to talk about. One is just a regular angle and one is a right angle. And to demonstrate that, let me put this down. To demonstrate that, this is called an index card. You will all need one of these, or if you don't, maybe you can get a Post-it note. But when you look at this card, sorry, I'm drawing on here. This area right here is an angle. And because it looks like an L, capital L, and because it meets directly at a point, this is called a right angle. And a right angle is notated by drawing a little box in the corner. That shows a right angle. If it is not a right angle, let me show you one of those. So here's a triangle. There's one triangle that does have a right angle, but this one does not. You show an angle by just kind of putting in a little rainbow in those sections. So let's get our board again and let's look at these shapes. Let's look at the triangle. So the triangle is not going to have a right angle in this one. So you would just draw the little rainbow. Now this is a square. Does a square match up? Does this line match up with my note card and the bottom line match up with my note card? Yes, it does. So this is a right angle. And you would do that for all of them. This is a trapezoid. Let's see if that matches up. No, this line curves in, so this would not be a right angle. Sorry, this would be a rainbow. All of those are a rainbow. Then our hexagon, we need to decide if those angles are right angles. So let's match right here. Does that bottom line match? It does not. So these are all regular angles as well. And you just put the little rainbow in there. Okay, so one of the activities you are going to do is you are going to go around the room with a note card like this and find a bunch of objects that have a right angle. So I wanted to just demonstrate a couple. So here's a remote for us. I am going to take my note card and maybe I'll go this way and put it right here at the bottom, match at the bottom of the remote with the side of the remote, and it matches exactly. And so this would be a right angle. Now let me show you another one. This is a star. So I'm going to put my note card. Let's say I'm going to try to do this bottom line right here. So this bottom line matches, but this does not match all the way up. You can see there's a point poking out and then it indents right there. And so a star does not have a right angle. They have the angles that you show with a rainbow. Here is a book. And you're going to take your note card. You're going to match the bottom of your note card with the bottom of the book and the side of the book, and it matches exactly. And so this book, and also because it's in the shape of a rectangle, has a right angle. Not only one, but it would have four. This is a little ball that my grandson comes to play with sometimes. So I'm going to match the bottom of the ball with the bottom of the paper. You can see there's not a good match. It pokes out, it's not straight, and so this ball does not have a right angle. And then another thing talked about in geometry is congruency. And congruency is where you have a mirror image of something. And you can show that by the shape or by lines. So I want to check for congruency in this shape. This is a square. And so I'm going to fold it in half. And if it matches exactly, this is congruent. The shape is congruent because this half is the very same as this half. Now I would like to check the congruency of the lines. So I'm going to check and see if this line is the exact same length as this line. So I'm going to fold it again and line it up, and the sides match perfectly. So a square is congruent as a shape and with its lines. You could also check this line and this line by folding it the other way and matching it up, and they are exactly the same length. Let me show you another one. So this is a rhombus, and if we fold it in half this way and then open it up, the shape is congruent. And the only way you are going to really tell if these lines are congruent is to get a ruler or eyeball it. And this is going to be a little tricky to eyeball. So I'm folding it across the top, and it's not going to show me exact, but it stops about here and here, and it has about this much left over. And if you eyeball it, it looks about the same. So I'm going to say that the lines are congruent and the shape is congruent for this one. Let me show you a different one. This is a trapezoid. If you fold it in half and then open it back up, you have a mirror image of this side and this side. However, we need to check to see if these lines are congruent. So I'm going to fold that up. And as you can see, the bottom line was a lot longer than the top line. So the lines are not congruent. They are parallel, which means they will go forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and never connect or cross like this. So you will be experiencing congruency. And the way you show congruency, let me erase my little board, put some shapes up here, is this. Let's do a rhombus. And let's do a rectangle. So first of all, to help me figure things out, sometimes I just like to mark the angles. So I know a rectangle has 4 right angles. So I'm going to do that. And then a rhombus, just to double check, if you hold it this way, it does not line up exactly on the bottom. So this rhombus does not have right angles. It has other angles, which are the rainbow. So to show congruency in a rhombus, this line is exactly the same length as that line. So I'm going to show that with a tick mark. And then folding it that way, you will find out that this line is the same length as that line. So all four actually are the same length. So I would just put a tick mark on them. Now let's look at the rectangle. So I have this line compared to this line. They are the same, so I'm going to put a tick mark there. But this line is much longer than this line. However, it is the same length as this one. So to show a different length, you would do double tick marks. And then if you ever need to, you can do 3 tick marks, 4 tick marks, whatever, just to show congruency. A lot of 4th grade is spent on quadrilaterals. Now, quadrilateral, the word quad stands for 4. And when you are classifying or putting quadrilaterals in groups, you compare the angles, the sides, and whether or not they're congruent. So I just want to show you these really quick. Here's some samples of quadrilaterals, and they are closed figures with 4 sides. Here's one, a trapezoid. And a trapezoid has 4 sides, 1 pair of parallel lines, but they're not congruent, and 1 pair of non-parallel lines. So the sides right here are non-parallel. This is a new one, which we don't talk about. You haven't learned a lot about. This is a parallelogram. Parallelogram has 4 sides, and 2 pairs are parallel lines. So this side is parallel and congruent to this side, to each other. Then this one and this one are parallel and congruent as well. Here's your rectangle. Notice the right angles of the squares. So a rectangle has 4 sides, and it has 2 pairs of equal sides. And then it also has 2 pairs of parallel lines and 4 right angles. And then here's a square. You see the 4 right angles in the square, and you see the tick marks, which shows congruency. So that means they're the very same length all the way around. And then this is the rhombus. It has 4 sides that are the same length and 2 pairs of parallel lines and 4 angles. And it says 2 acute and 2 obtuse, which you don't need to worry about those words here in 3rd grade. You just need to know that they're not right angles and that you would put the rainbow there. So I do have a book to read.